Hello everyone and welcome. This is Ryan of Happy Healthy Non-Deficient Vegan. Today is Friday, or for some of you guys, early Saturday, whatever time it is, whatever day it is. This right now is the time we get together and discuss any and all things vegan. So if you're watching the on demand later on, this is right now 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So set your calendars, have AI remind you, whatever you need to do to come and join us on these live streams. So welcome everyone. In case you're not sure what this is all about, we get together, as I said, talk about all things vegan, and we do stray off topic a little bit. So if you're vegan or vegetarian, this is a great place to come. We're not going to attack you. We're chill people here. Just be civil and we can get along. If you're not vegan and you're interested in what we're doing, like not what we're doing, but just what veganism is, you've got a lot of vegans here you can get some perspective from. If you have some questions to ask, some concerns, we'll try our best. And also, if you're not vegan and you have no intention of ever becoming vegan because you are bigoted and a precious snowflake and you're frightened by what we're doing here by peacefully not eating animals, peacefully eating plants, if that somehow triggers you and threatens your whole way of life, you can come here and ask some questions. I'll try to dispel your fears and show how they're just totally irrational and you're projecting all this weird crap that's not really happening. So anyway, let's all try to get along. We can make this world a happier place. You don't have to hate us because most of us vegans don't hate you guys, believe it or not. We're just peacefully eating our plants. We're not worried about what everyone else is doing. Hey Peter, I see Peter's up partying all night at vegan campout in the United Kingdom. Right on. And hey, late model Sarah, yes, thanks for reminding me. It's not daylight savings. I don't know what the hell time it is anymore. Standard daylight savings, it is daylight, whatever. I just say Pacific time, and I think it just programmed in my brain to keep continuing with which kind of time it is. But hey, it's just 6 p.m. Pacific time right now. I'm sorry to hear, Sarah, that there's all the fires burning near your area. I mean, it's that time of year, August, it's hot, a heat wave is not engulfed, that's the wrong word, sounds horrible. A heat wave is happening here on the west coast of the United States and inland to the western United States. It's getting warm. It will be getting even warmer throughout the weekend and next week. So thank goodness we got our air conditioning, I think, knock on wood, fixed finally. The guys came Monday. And we just took out the old line that connected our two blowers over in the bedroom and living room to the compressor outside, took out the old line, put in a brand new one. He said it's betterly insulated or something like that. It shouldn't interfere. It should work perfectly. It's been working flawlessly since Monday. So just in friggin' time. So yeah, I'm glad that only lasted a few days. It shouldn't have happened though, but that's what we get for trying to be environmentally minded people and try to reuse what we thought was a perfectly functioning line from the old installation. Shouldn't have done that. We still have the old one come into this room, knock on wood, but it's been perfect the whole time. So anyway, what was I going to say about it? Yeah, it's hot and it's fire season. And for you, Sarah, late model smoke season. It pools in your city, but this one is close. Yeah, I saw that AQI, air quality index, but 3 to 400, that is horrible. I mean, anything over 100 is bad, so that is just crazy bad. So yeah, stay indoors, use your air conditioning, turn on your HEPA filters. Everyone, if you have fires near you, it's not good stuff to breathe. I'm such a weirdo. I like fresh air as much as I can. Hard to get here though, and fresh, clean water. Let's see. Danny's at Vegan Campout. That's formerly known as Lifting Vegan Logic. Danny. He tried to make it to Vegan Campout, but his flight got canceled anonymously 2 times, but he made it anyways. Wow, what a what's that word? Like a quest, an adventure for him. But yeah, get to bed, Peter. You don't want to stay up all night with me. You see me all the time. Get your energy, make some friends at Vegan Camp out there. Sounds fun. And hey, Uncle is here. So yeah, you don't have to worry, Peter. Uncle will be our moderator that will kick the ass out of anyone that steps out of line. Anyone that breaks our basic non-fascist rules here. Okay, there's the definition of veganism in case any of you happen to have forgotten it over the week or so. I really doubt you have. Crap. Oh, I went to the wrong tab. That's what's happening. Here's the rules. There we go. Yeah, just be civil. don't be a bigot, stuff like that. And if you're here to debunk veganism or try to debunk veganism, just give me one example. Basically, just give me your best argument or evidence against veganism or plant-based diets or whatever you want to talk about there. So anyway, yeah, if you want to do that, we're open to a civil discussion. And if you just want to lurk in the background or troll, well, trolling violates rule number 2. So you can just lurk in the background. I have no problems with that. Oh, cool, the Vegan Society is here at Vegan Campout. Let them know I just showed their definition of veganism. Let them know I show their definition pretty much every Friday live stream, at least anytime an anti-vegan comes, and I show their definition on like 95% of my weekly videos, the non-live stream videos, the ones where I, sit here and respond to Joe Rogan or whatever. So let them know I'm a big advocate of their definition. I think it's a pretty brilliant definition as far as like being able to cram a lot of ideas into a few amount of words, because that's what you want in a definition. You don't want a definition to be like 5 paragraphs or even 5 sentences. You want to pack a lot, as much as you can, while still remaining clear and concise. And that's a tough job. Is it perfect? I don't think any definition is perfect, but it's pretty damn good. And it works for me fabulously as far as responding to anti-vegan nonsense. You just point to, no, that's not what veganism is. You're making crap up. So anyway, Ryan loves international travel. You know me very well, huh, Sarah? Things I don't like. I don't like going to protests and stuff. I don't like traveling far, especially international travel. It's been a long time since I did any international travel. So anyway, hey Travis, yeah, isn't Bite Size Vegan at Campout too? Let's see. Yeah, maybe some other time, Peter. So my life is just too crazy right now. I mean, it's just been, how crazy it's been. Like, my air conditioning just broke down in the middle of the summer. I had to get that fixed. I wouldn't be able to leave or anything like that. But and those spirals will definitely not perform at Vegan Campout. Sarah's probably laughing, rolling RLT, whatever, rolling on the floor laughing right now at that idea. Because, yeah, Low Spirals does not play live. This is it, man. We're a studio band. We perform in here. We dial it in, try to get as perfect as we can. You are laughing, huh? I don't even have a passport, Uncle. I have an old expired passport. I think it expired maybe 3 or 4 years ago. I found my birth certificate though, so I guess I'm not going to ever get like iced or whatever happens, So I got that. The day Ryan goes is the day that Sarah goes too. Awesome. I could at least do it for anyone watching for Vegan Campout now. Let me at least give some British accent as Travis has requested. I normally wouldn't do this. I hope that no one finds my accents to be like offensive or stereotyping or anything like that. But I'm going to quote an actual Scottish person that came to my parents' house in the 90s. Her name is Shelley. Dominic and Shelley were the children. They're grown adults now. Anyway, she met our dog at the time, a little poodle, Muffy. So after she met Muffy, she went back to visit her dad was staying at my girlfriend's house. Anyway, so that's where they were being hosted. You don't need to know. Anyway, she went back and told her dad, Dad. She didn't speak like a man, but I'm speaking like a man because I'm a man. Dad, you've got to meet Muffy. He's great. He's a wee little dog. And I remember when they said this phrase, caca happy. I go, what the hell are you saying? Caca happy. It's kick a hippie. Like, caca happy? Like, what the hell? Caca happy. So anyway, those are my Scottish accents today. My Scottish phrases of the day. So any Scottish people, don't be offended. I'm just doing this for Vegan Campout. I like Scottish, more specifically Glaswegian accents. They're from the Glasgow area. You think your passport expired too? Yeah, I mean, I can't do an Edinburgh accent. That's the other big city there. That one's really weird. It's really like, it's trippy. I can't do it. I have a grasp of the Glasgow one because I heard them speak it so much. But when I hear the Edinburgh accent, half the time, I don't understand it. It sounds cool and all. It's trippy and cool, but I don't, it's thick. Anyway, is Ryan okay? I'm okay. I'm just talking about weird shit right now. Graven, thanks for asking, though. And Varlis, did you like it? Yeah, you're in the United Kingdom. What did you think of my Scottish accents there? I'll do one more time. Try not to be too cringe. Dad, you've got to meet Muffy. He's great. He's a wee little dog. Anyway, stick to music, Nikki. Okay. I actually don't mind flying that much, late model. I actually like I like having a window seat. I like looking out and seeing all that stuff that like all these great people from history never got to see, like Socrates and Abraham Lincoln and Napoleon, whatever. I don't say he's great. Anyway, all these people never got to look out and see the world from like 35,000 feet high or anything like that, you know? Alicia, no on the accent, but good try. Well, I wasn't ever gonna like travel to Glasgow and speak with that accent. I'd probably get I'd get beat up probably, right? Ryan's accent is as good as their American accents. I think I say "kaka happy" pretty good. I think I took a lot of practice to say "kaka happy." It's a lot harder to say that than you might think. Johnny, yeah, I've done that. 13 hours. That's about what it takes to get to Europe. Yeah, at least going to like somewhere like Glasgow would be one of the closer spots in Europe. Same with going to Portugal or something like that. But yeah, flying in like way deep, like I did when I went to like Copenhagen. That was a flight. That was a long flight, nonstop. You like my soy latte voice? That's the talk about a horrible accent, right, Nikki? That's such a bad one. She was trying to make fun of me. Ryan's from California. Like, yeah. So what? I was born here. Do you have a problem with that? Are you triggered? Are you such a precious snowflake that it triggers you that people live in California? You wish you could live here or something like that? I'm sorry, I was born here. Where should I be? Where should I be right now if not the place I was born? Oh, hi, Heidi. Yeah, I did have to do it a little early. Our premiere video, the video premiere from yesterday, I had to do it a little early just to make sure we had enough time because we went to see a band last night, a Korean artist, of course, Kai from the band EXO. Like, they're kind of on hiatus right now. For a number of reasons, I don't need to get into that right now. But yeah, I played a solo show at the Shrine Auditorium last night, so I wanted to make sure we had plenty of time. So 5 might have been a little tight, so yeah, I'm glad we planned plenty of time because parking at that parking structure sucked, man, and it was horrible. I'm going, I don't know if I really want to go to big concerts anymore. That just was really crap. We had 2 concerts this summer. In early July, we had Bak Young from EXO. He played at the Forum. That was cool. Paid $55. Had this great parking spot. $55, I told you, is like the normal price now. It was not even premium parking, but we got in real quick, got out real quick. It was easy. Yesterday, paid $45, and it crammed to this little parking structure. At least the Forum, you're in this big lot. There's all these ways to get out. Parking structures suck. You could be in there like we were just trapped in there like 40 minutes not moving. But anyway, yeah, we went to see Kai last night. It was cool, man. Yeah, EXO's got some great songs. He did some cool songs from their history, and he played my favorite song, Slide In. So if you want to check out a cool song, check out Kai, Kai, Slide In, just like it sounds. I don't think there's a G at the end, just Slide In. Really cool. I didn't think he was going to play that. It's like a deep cut, it wasn't like a single or anything like that. So yeah, I was stoked, but once again, it was kind of loud. I'm glad I have my my hearing plugs with 25 decibels of sound reduction, so helped out. But I had to get up in the middle of the show and just walk out and I bought Angie like a shirt. The line was too crazy before the show. We would have missed the opening, and we knew one of our favorite songs was Second. Which one was it? I knew we had to get there for the second song. It's escaping right now. Anyway, I went out last night. I'm not a total homebody. But I'm not sure how many more concerts I can go to, man. These Korean shows are freaking loud. I'm looking at my decibel meter on my watch, like, 99 decibels, 100 decibels. Like, it doesn't need to be so loud. Kai's a dancer, it doesn't need to be super loud. Concert shirts are expensive. The t-shirts were $45. The hoodie was $90. Yeah, 90. And the dad hat, which was really cool. I was thinking about getting it, but it was $40. Just $5 less than a t-shirt. It's like, oh my god, this is such crap. It's like, no, I mean, I just paid $45 for parking. I'm not going to get anything. I did get Angie something, like I said, because she really loves Kai. I like Kai a lot too, but she likes him more than I like him. But not to say I dislike Kai. But anyway, yeah, it's crazy expensive. And exactly, that's why you have these guys selling knockoff shirts in the parking lot. Yeah, death metal concerts are awesome, but I don't want to kill your hearing. Yeah, well, that's where these earplugs come in. Yeah, you can just get those ones from the drugstore. They're pretty effective. They make you, it really makes it hard to appreciate the music the way they filter out the high frequencies. At least these ones I get, these musician type ones, you can still appreciate the music a lot. And I appreciate not coming home with ringing ears, and I can't. I'm old. Like, I can see all these kids there without protection. They can do it. They're 20. They've got way more decades of hearing loss experience before they get to where I'm at right now. But I need to protect what I have. Just for the fact that I'm getting older. And second, I'm a music producer. My hearing's huge. Yeah, $45 for parking in a parking structure. I thought we were only going to pay $20 because I did my due diligence before we left for the Shrine. The Shrine Auditorium is right across the street from USC, University of Southern California. So I was going to park I did park in the Shrine USC parking structure, and I looked online. They charge by the hour, but they say all day is $20. Like, Angie, it's only $20 compared to that $55 nonsense at the Forum. But no, for special events, they charge whatever they want. So no, it's $45. Like, where do they come up with these numbers at? It wasn't like they had this giant staff for parking. No, they just had like one person. Are you here for the Kai concert? If so, it's $45. That was it. It's just a total ripoff. I hate inflation and I hate greed. I think the only reason why they charge that much is because everyone else is doing it. And anyway. Yeah, Sarah, late model. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. If you're my age and you went to a lot of music events in our 20s and early 30s and stuff, yeah, we can have some hearing loss issues for sure. So yeah, just protect your hearing. Just like we need to, us older people need to protect our skin when we go out, wear some sunscreen, which I didn't do like in my 30s and 40s really, unless I was going surfing or something. But other than that, for day-to-day life, never really did. Now I do. Today I forgot to put some on before I went to the gym. So fortunately, in my car, I have an emergency dad hat. I just slapped that on to walk into the gym and walk back out. So it helped me a little bit. Yeah, I wear earplugs 100% of the time now too. 100%. Yeah, one concert last year, or a couple, I think, I was able to get away with my AirPod Pros. But for these K-pop shows lately, man, they're loud. So no, you got to have some real non-noise canceling, just good old-fashioned analog, hearing protection. So yes, Uncle's right. Save your skin, save your hearing, and you will appreciate that later on in life. You might appreciate it earlier on in life too. And your teeth and eyes are important too, Uncle. You got it all. Nikki, you've never been to a live concert. I'm just going, man, I don't know if I'm cut out for live concerts. They're so freaking loud. I just can't hack it anymore. Anyway, oh hey VLAM, even the J-pop concert you went to last time was way louder than it needs to be. That's why I prefer just watching stuff there was a K-pop concert here like a month ago that we were thinking about going to, but we heard it was going to be shown like on Amazon or Samsung. Anyway, we just watched it at home, and I like being able to control with my remote the volume. I can control it, so instead of some maniac at the mixing board going, I want to get 100 decibels, hell yeah. Maybe they're saying that to themselves in Korea or something. But anyway, I kind of thought, let's go crazy here. But yeah, I like J-pop's cool. I really like J-pop. I've become a huge fan of Perfume over the past couple years or two. I mean, they have like a billion songs. They've been around like this as long as like Love Spirals Downwards. They're a huge catalog. But yeah, I'm totally become a Perfume freak for a while now. No, they make me happy. So I guess I like a lot of Korean music, like Japanese music. In fact, one of my favorite K-pop bands right now is primarily comprised of Japanese people. I think they have one Korean, and everyone else, other 6 girls are Japanese. The band name is XG, the letters X and G. Anyway, you guys don't need to know that. Anyway, anyone here trying to debunk veganism or anything as I'm blabbing about me going out last night? But that was a fun time. I just wish it wasn't as loud. What's really cool too, we saved money on seats. We got there's the highest level of the mezzanine. So we got the front row of that highest level, thinking no one will be able to be in front of us going crazy or dancing. We could sit down the whole time because we're old. But then we saw the whole section below us. They didn't even sell out. So I grabbed my phone and went onto the ticket selling app. I go, yeah, they didn't sell that. I could buy it. I can't even buy a ticket in that section. So we just moved down a whole level, saved maybe $100, probably been $50 more a ticket. So yeah, it was cool to have our like a free ticket upgrade of sorts. So that was one nice point of all the hellishness of paying all that money for parking and everything. Anyway. Travis, they don't have shit in North Korea, man. No, they don't have K-pop in North Korea. North Korea, as far as I know, is like, frozen in time, from decades ago. They have their own North Korean, like, internet and cell phone or something like that. But no. You'd probably go to prison if they caught you listening to K-pop, I'm guessing. Yeah, it's funny when I hear, like, when people meet Koreans, they'll say, are you from North Korea or South Korea? No, unless they defected, which is super rare. You will not meet North Koreans. It's super, super rare. Everyone is pretty much, if you meet a Korean, they're South Korean. I hope Dr. Bear does come back. She did comment on yesterday's video, with the shirtless jungle influencer guy. What's that, Nikki? Think, I need to go out more. That's what I'm wondering. Should I be going out more or less? I'm old. I shouldn't be going out that much anymore. Hey, what would you get there, V? Some new noise canceling earbuds by accident. Just wanted the regular ones. Now I love to have them on even when I'm not. Yeah, listen, I do that too. Like today at the gym, I have my AirPods on just to help block out sound. Unfortunately, the noise canceling, I told you, broke. I took him to the Apple store last week, and they told me I was screwed, but that I should call Apple support on the phone. And they said, no, they should have told you that you're screwed. You're just totally screwed. So anyway, on September 9th, Apple is having one of their, the fall event where they announce their new iPhone and crap like that. So anyway, the street rumor is the AirPod Pro 3s will be announced on September 9th too. So I'm just waiting to see. I don't want to buy a pair right now because the new ones should have, amongst other things, a faster chip, which means better noise canceling. So I'm holding out for that. So anyway, just letting you know. Hey VLAM, Brian, I DM'd HHV some photos of the raw thing I went to last week. The food was surprisingly good. I wore your HHV shirt and brought your purple smoothie, and it was a crowd fave. Awesome. I'll ask Angie if she got that. I don't think I can log in right now to you're talking about Instagram, right? I know Angie's got that on her phone. I just have my personal account on her. So I'll check it out. I want to see. Yeah, you said you DM'd us. So yeah, we'll probably just have to go into the messages and find what's your name on there, VLAM, so I'll know it's you. Let me know if you don't mind sharing right now your Instagram username. What's that, Johnny Bravo? Veganism is malnutrition because you eat plants all day. Yeah, some people do actually believe that. Johnny's being sarcastic, but you'd be surprised how many knuckle-dragging Neanderthal meat bros say that with a completely sincere, straight face. Well, that's cool, Nikki, for fall, winter, getting a Hello Kitty crockpot. I want to take Angie to a Hello Kitty store one day. Just get her some Hello Kitty things. I got her some Hello Kitty slippers for her birthday because her birthday's in wintertime and it's cold. Let's see, Blood Rose. All vampires here as well. Vegans tonight. What's going on? We have vampires here tonight? I'm an old former gothy sort of person, kinda, sort of. What's with the vampires? Oh, cool, Graven. You watch Vegan Zombies Model. Yeah, it's a movie. It's out streaming now, right? Yeah, I haven't seen it since it got released to streaming. Just when he made it available on was it YouTube if you had a code or something like that? And we did watch it then. Johnny, you're not an expert on fighter jets from mid 20th century? I'm shocked. I thought you all learned that when you joined the military. No, just kidding. Let's see. What's that, Heidi? You need to stay home more. You're glad fall and winter are coming. And what does late model say? She's the opposite. You hide in the heat and out walking in the snowstorms. Wow. I bet you though, yeah, you wouldn't mind just living somewhere like didn't have snow but cooler, like, you know, somewhere like, you know, more on the coastal part of the Pacific Northwest rather than in the more inland where it snows. How you'd be fine just without the snow. You probably just wouldn't mind the hard, overcast clouds and that kind of, and just rain, I guess. Yeah, but yeah, heat really screws us up here, man. Just kind of makes it a little more difficult to do things, but I'm glad we got our air conditioners working out. Now I'm thinking, okay, you know, instead of trying to be like cheap and not run it, it's just like, I'm just going to pay. You know, it costs more to go somewhere. Like, say I'm going to go to a movie to escape the heat. That's going to be like $40. I'd rather just run for one day, for one afternoon. I'd just rather run the AC a little bit more and pay like $50 for the month, you know, because I have a pretty efficient air conditioning system. Dr. Bear is here. Awesome. Dr. Bear. Woohoo. All right. Dr. Bear is back. I saw your comment from yesterday's video. I asked you, was I a little too mean about that guy? I felt like I was a little meaner than normal. I guess my patience is just wearing thin. Just hearing something like, why do they care about us? Like I asked at the end of the video, why do they give a shit about us? If they want to be some kind of meat grifter, paleo, carnivore, primal, whatever, do your thing. You know, you don't have to bag on us. When I make my videos, you know, I don't bag on you guys, you meat eater types, unless you're bagging on us. You know, I don't care about your channels. I don't watch your content unless like Peter, my moderator, someone tells me, hey, did you see what this guy said? He's saying all this nonsense about veganism. I respond, but I really don't care. I don't watch you guys. I don't watch you carnivores and anti-vegans and primal people. I don't care. I don't talk about you. I don't give a shit. You know, it's a free country, or sort of, you know, wherever you live, you know, you do your thing, I guess. You know, I can't shut you down. I'm not trying to. I just, you know, why can't vegans just operate, and why can't you guys just leave us alone? I don't understand why we live rent free in your head that you feel so compelled to bag on us all the time. Yeah, Mendo Coast or Southern Oregon Coast. Yeah, nice, perfect weather for your preferences there, late model. Let's see. You could talk about rifles and guns all day, Johnny. So if you ever have any questions, you got the person to ask. But you can't talk about mid 20th century fighter jets, though. Let's see. So Dr. Bear, regarding my video about the jungle shirtless influencer from the jungle yesterday. Dr. Bear, I don't think you were mean at all, especially since this isn't the first time he has spewed anti-vegan nonsense. It was okay. I just felt I was being mean. I just kind of lost it when he said, and having the courage to do what is right. The courage to do what is right, to eat meat, because his video was about, you know, why veganism is bad or something like that. The courage to do what everyone else is doing, eat meat and not like take a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation, and face the ridicule of like 98% of the human population for making that decision. Like, that takes courage. It doesn't take any special courage to say, hey, you like burgers? I like burgers too. Whoa, how weird, you know? Wow, it's like God made us meat. This can't be possible. This is so improbable. You know, anyway, Travis is a country about my earlier comment. Yeah, I kind of felt weird about the baby too. Like, what does the baby think about being held as a prop in his grift there? You know, it's like, is he trying to show, hey, it really got me pissed when he said, if you're, his words, a fat guy, you're not going to get laid because you don't respect yourself. And if you don't respect yourself, your women or women won't respect you and you'll never have sex again. That just got me pissed off. So is he holding the baby to say like, hey, look at me. I'm not fat. I can have intercourse with women and reproduce babies. You want to be like me, right? Is that what he's trying to say? I'm not sure. It's just kind of puzzling. Anyway, yeah, Vila, I'm going with what 99% of the world is doing. Is so edgy. It takes so much courage. You know, I just can't handle it anymore with these people. Oh, Johnny, you do have an interest in fighter jets, just modern ones. Okay, I didn't even know you had an interest in fighter jets. Yeah, Dr. Bear, imagine thinking it's courageous to kill helpless animals when you don't have to. That takes so much courage. Like I said, how much courage does it take to have a exploited human worker kill an exploited animal, slaughter it so you can have meat at the store? That takes zero courage. That's freaking cowardice. That's a definition right there. Sitting on your lazy ass and paying some exploited person to do some gruesome work that you would probably never want to do, and have an animal killed when you don't have to. You can eat plants. It's just lame and cowardice. Carl, yeah, apart from being clueless, yeah, I would agree. He's also cringe. I know. That's so awesome. Yeah, I haven't worn any shoes or socks for 3 years. Like, why? He had other videos too where he says he hasn't like shampooed his hair for 3. It's just 3 years too. It's just all this stuff. It just reminds me of. I'm just so old now, guys. I've been doing this channel since 2013. I just see this happen. Raw people do this thing where they think they're apes. Tim Sheath thought he was an ape. He didn't do any of this stuff either. Now you have these primal people think they're apes. Like, what's this fascination with people thinking they're apes? I don't do anything a human does, except I have this really highly specialized technology here of miniaturized electronics and communication systems here, so I can film and record video and upload it to the internet. I mean, it's like your monkeys and apes didn't do that too. Like Paul Saladino doesn't want to put on sunscreen because apes and monkeys didn't do it. I bet the shirtless jungle bro doesn't do it either because monkeys and apes didn't do it. Like, why are people so fascinated with living this fantasy life where they think they're doing what the monkeys and apes would have done and stuff? And I know we're apes. Before anyone tries to self-correct me, I'm just making a distinction between human apes and non-human apes. But I'm not sure what this fascination is with living like an ape. Anyway, let's see what you guys are talking about there. Random. I've never met Gary Yourofsky. Good question. He's more East Coast, right? Is it Boston area? I forgot where he's from, but he's not around here. So yeah, I probably would have met him back when I was going to a lot of vegan festivals and events, speaking at them and presenting at these things a long time ago, like 5-6 years ago. But yeah, I think he kind of stopped doing his thing by around then anyway. He's kind of early on as far as having like, a YouTube presence. Did he really have a presence or more that one video? Oh, that's sad. A late model Amy's drive-through vegetarian restaurant in Marin is closing. Veggie Grill closed a couple years ago too. Wow, I wonder why they can't keep any plant-based restaurants in Marin County. What's wrong with people there? I thought they were like more, cool or something like that. And not cool, you know what I'm saying? Just like, into things that are like that. Anyway, Nikki, pineapple on pizza, yes or no? Typically, no. But I have to say, when I took Angie to Maui for her 50th birthday, and there was an amazing pizza restaurant that we wanted to go to, we went there every night, basically. Yes, pineapple on the Maui pizza, 100%. But here at home, not so much. I don't think they do it quite the same. Yeah, good point, Carl, about these people wanting to live like apes. Yeah. No, I guess this doesn't apply to the raw vegan types trying to do it. But yeah, they're nearly vegan for the most part, as far as their diets go. The Blood Rose, yeah, these people that want to live like apes, they have tech to get on the internet, but walk around half naked being primitives. It's kind of weird. It's very pick and choose, The analogy is kind of like a menu. I'll take this one. I'll take that one. Just pick and choose what you want, but not have a more consistent thing. But anyway, it's weird. I think people have this romantic notion of what they fantasize the past was like. The present times aren't awesome. They're not that great. Not saying hasn't been worse times in history or anything like that. I'm just saying I think people have this romantic idea of, they have a fantasy. They've never studied anthropology, archaeology, primatology, or any of that stuff. They're just untrained people that don't know jack shit about history or anything like that, and have a fantasy of what they imagine, this ideal fantasy of what human ancestors are like. And when I say human ancestors, these people are so untrained, they have no idea what they're even talking about. Are they talking about Homo sapien? Are they talking about Paleolithic era, like early Homo sapiens? Are they talking about like maybe a few 100,000 years ago, Homo erectus, maybe Australopithecus, when we're eating all fruit and stuff like that? That's what the Vegetarians seem to model themselves after when they say our ancient ancestors ate all fruit. Well, no. Homo sapien was not all fruit eating. If you want to find our last direct ancestor that was eating nothing but uncooked food, you're going to have to go back a few million years to Australopithecus. And even them, they're the ones that start figuring out if you can heat up some of the starchy tubers in the ground, you don't have to worry about the fruit anymore. You have an unlimited supply of food down there if you can learn how to cook. And that's what expanded our brains so rapidly. But anyway, I'm just saying, these people don't know this stuff. They just think, I want to live like an ape, and they don't know what kind of ape or anything. Good question, Graven. Yeah, did Milo... Are you around, Milo? Are you watching? Because remember you told us last week, made it sound like that might be the last time you would talk to us. You might not be here like with us on this plane of existence anymore. So if you're here, Milo, pop in and say hi. Oh, Dr. Bear, yeah, I always get very silly comments on my debunking videos. I know, you saw. I wish those commenters would come to the live stream to share their brilliance with us. Well, that's what I do. Like about 4 hours before these live streams, I go and read the comments from this week's videos, and the ones from the week before too. I look at the basically comments from the last 7 days, and when I see these silly comments, I'm just ready to go. I have something ready to go, copy and paste. Yeah, are you serious? Please come to my Friday live stream Friday tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time, and tell me more about this like just crackpot idea of yours. And I give them the link to the live stream. So we'll see if anyone comes. That's so they talk a big brave talk, but when faced with the challenge of actually presenting and defending what they said in a live situation, not too many people are up for it. I mean, some are, but I think like 90% don't want that kind of pressure. Yeah, Heidi, I did think about Milo a couple times this week too. I think a lot of us probably did. That was like such a heavy message he told us. What's up, Dr. Bear? Scientific consensus says whole grains and cooked veggies are great for us, so it doesn't matter if our ancestors didn't eat them. It's funny when someone says, who cares about scientific consensus? I go, sounds one of these silly comments. I'll say, well, spoken exactly like someone who doesn't have any scientific consensus. These people, like when I say, yeah, there's like credible health organizations then they'll complain about that, and I'll say, I've spoken exactly like someone who has no credible health organizations to support their diets and stuff. Anyway, I hope Milo is in peace now on this planet. I hope so, with us still, and if not, I hope he's at peace totally. Yeah, I totally forgot that he shared that he had cancer. Yeah, I feel bad, VLAM. I was gonna make a Facebook page for like happy fam people, and I just kind of dropped the ball. A couple reasons. One is I really detest Mark Zuckerberg, and I hate I just don't like doing stuff on Facebook and promoting his properties and stuff like that. It kind of sucks. You have to figure okay, which billionaire do I have to freaking lay in bed with, sort of? It's it's hard to escape the billionaires and if you're on tech platforms, so that's one big reason there. We're trying to decrease our use and dependency on Facebook, not add more reasons to be on Meta. What's Carl? If it weren't for scientific consensus, they wouldn't have a computer to type nonsense on. I know these people that don't believe in science, and I go, that's interesting. You know, as you're communicating with me right now or watching this live stream, it just didn't get invented by apes and monkeys. It was the scientific method that learned how to harness the power of quantum mechanics and electrons and be able to produce devices like this. They just didn't get invented in some guy's imagination. Well, it did if you were trained in science and then used your imagination to think of something like an invention based on the laws of physics. But the laws of physics, you know, you just don't discover them by just screwing around or walking shirtless in the jungle, you know, drinking ayahuasca and stuff. You know, no, I'm not bagging on that. I'm just saying you're not going to discover the laws of physics that way. Yeah, Discord is another option. I think a lot, don't take any offense anyone. I think a lot of us here, not everyone, are too old to really like Discord. It seems to be more skewed towards younger, nerdier guys. And I know this is a horrible generalization. I know there's a lot of older females and stuff that use Discord, but for the most part, it usually seems like younger, nerdier dudes that seem to be their target demo. So I'm not sure if it'd be a good platform, but it's good that it's not part of Zuckerberg. I thought, didn't Microsoft buy it? And there you have to deal with the billionaires of Microsoft. So you just gotta figure which billionaire do you want to like deal with, you know? Threads, yeah, it's owned by Zuckerberg for sure. Let's see. What's that, Dr. Bear? I noticed a new feature in YouTube when you can give a YouTube video hype points or something. No, sure, give me hype points. Whatever you can do to help YouTube out and me out, you know, help YouTube to like promote our videos more or whatever. You know, that'd be cool. Well, speaking of getting too old to learn new tech, just yesterday I put a piece of software on my computer here. What's it called? Where did it go? I've lost it. Oh, there it is. LM Studio, which allows you to download downloadable large language models. You can run your own like AI basically on your computer locally. So I've tried a few different LLMs that run on, you know, my hardware. I don't have an NVIDIA computer. I have a Mac Studio, which is pretty powerful, like 64 gigs of RAM. It's got a bunch of graphics chips in there. It's got a lot of power, and a lot of these LLMs have been forked or optimized to run on Mac software too. So they run pretty good, but been pretty dissatisfied. It's still a lot of dumbness in them and stuff. So anyway, I just thought I'd tell you I'm trying some new tech stuff out. I'm trying to have it do some data analysis for me, and it just totally like it's dumb, you know. And then we're asking it questions about our band. Not all LLMs or models are knowledge based. Some are more optimized for writing code. Some are, you know, anyway, they have agents that go out and find stuff for you. But some are some are supposed to have knowledge. So, and the ones that we tried, they don't know who our band is. They're saying they said the members of Love Spirals and Love Spirals Downwards didn't have any of the right people in it. I said, I thought I heard Ryan Lum was in both of those bands, and it said, yes, you probably heard that, but it's just some like myth that's been perpetuated on the internet for many years. He has nothing to do with those bands. He's a musician from London. It's like, what the fuck? It's just totally hallucinating all this crap about my band and me. It's crazy. It just shows you if this is the stuff that the underlying technology that's going to drive that whole AI revolution. AI is dumb, and I can't believe that people think AI is sentient. Look it up, guys. Have you heard about these people that it's like these people that have no knowledge of archaeology, anthropology, history, primatology, but they talk about our ancient past. People that have no don't know jack shit about technology, internet for the most part, or artificial intelligence. None of that. They don't know anything about it. They think they have unlocked their AIs and made them sentient. I kid you not. People think they have made their chat GPT conversations sentient. I mean, no, it's just a glorified calculator. It's just silicon and chips. Even if you give it more processing power, doesn't all the property of sentience doesn't emerge. People think they're talking to aliens from outer space, or a sentience that got unlocked, and they ask it like, where were you before? It's just crazy. I can't believe how dumb people are. No, your AI is not sentient. ChatGPT is not sentient. No computers are sentient, at least not right now. I don't think they ever will be. But people think, and people think they're having relationships. Have you heard of these people that are leaving their relationships are messed up? Like husbands and wives are not getting along now because one of the spouses is in love with their AI and all this. It's just crazy how people, this technology, it's unfortunate. It should have just been in the hands of like nerds and geeks and researchers and tech people. But once you give it to the masses that don't know jack shit and just have these really primitive understandings of how the internet and tech work, they totally misunderstand it, and they think aliens are talking to them. They think God is talking to them. They think there's a person in there talking to them. None of this is true. Yeah, look this stuff up. It's really, and there's cults now too. You can join an AI cult, robotheism or something like that is one of them. What's the other one? It's just look this crap up. People are losing their minds over AI. Heidi, we should all take a step back from the internet, but it's becoming more and more clear to me that a lot of people really shouldn't be on the internet because they just don't understand the tech. I grew up with this tech because I'm an old fart, and I was always kind of nerdy and techie to begin with. I worked at technology companies back in the .com era and stuff like that. So I have a bit of a tech background. An internet software developer was one of my titles. Manager of streaming media is another one. But anyway, my point is most people don't understand this stuff. Not just saying you have to have the knowledge I do, but people just don't understand anything. They don't understand jack crap, and these people are getting tricked somehow into thinking that they're talking to a sentient being. And it's just really disheartening. And you've heard of people. Did you hear about how OpenAI, the makers of ChatGPT, they're in deep shit right now because they supposedly have all these safeguards built into their ChatGPT thing that's not supposed to have people kill themselves, but like a 15 or 16-year-old boy killed himself. In fact, it even gave it instructions and helped it with making a noose and all this crap. The safeguards were totally missing there, and unfortunately, mentally disturbed boy got pushed by the AI to carry out. I mean, if you said this stuff to any sentient person, they would say, "Oh, yes, here's how to make a noose to kill yourself." No one would do that. It just shows you AI is not sentient. Even the dumbest person would know not to give you info and encourage you to kill yourself and stuff like that. It's frustrating. And these billionaires get away with it, Yeah, ChatGPT is, that was what I'm talking about there. And there's other AI programs too. Ones where you can have like a lover or boyfriend. That one of these convinced a young boy to kill himself too. That was an older story. But yeah, AI is convincing people to kill themselves. Yeah, what's that, Dr. Bear? You recently filled out a form to join a potential class action lawsuit because one of your academic papers was stolen and used to train AI without your knowledge or consent. Yeah, great, good, go for that. You saw that, Heidi? Yeah, what's that grave? A man said his ChatGPT was God. Yeah, and told him it was to SA his stepdaughter. Story was on TikTok. Wow. See what I'm saying? Like, how can you believe what you're talking to in any AI program? I don't care which one you're using, Gemini, ChatGPT, Anthropic, Cloud, whatever, or a local model, whatever, Llama, it's like, they're not sentient. It's just chips. it's GPU and graphics chips and some CPU and language models that they've been trained on, or graphics models if it's a graphic one. But anyway, they're not sentient. God is not talking to you. Aliens are not talking to you. It may seem like there's some intelligence behind it, but it shows you how it went and told the kid, here's how to kill yourself. Until that shows a complete lack of sentience, because no sentient person in their right mind would do that. Yeah, they didn't mention Grok there. Yeah, Dr. Bear, yeah. Yep, they're stealing music from artists. I'm sure we've got sampled by Suno or whatever that music ripoff one is. Yeah. Yeah, there's no ethics or morals or anything like that. That's cool, Heidi. I saw LA Unified School District for this fall started some policy like that. No phones in schools, or at least during class time. I'm not sure how they enforce that. They put them in a bag or locker or something like that. I'm not sure. Hey, Johnny, thanks for the super chat tip there. What programming languages did you use as a software developer? Your college major is based on Java. Java's interesting. I'm glad it's still around. Yeah, it's like correct me if I'm wrong, but Java's like just a kind of a great language to learn on. It's, nice, easy to understand, relatively speaking, object-oriented language. But I don't think there's a lot of programmers actually programming much stuff in Java. Again, maybe things have changed now. But yeah, back when I was doing web development, I mean, I started off old school before there was like server pages, just like hard-coded pages and HTML and stuff like that. Then added on CSS cascading style sheets. Then started getting into some like middle tier server stuff like Microsoft Active Server pages, PHP, which is still around. My favorite one was a language called Cold Fusion. I think the name of the company was Alera. I think they later sold it to maybe Adobe or something like that. But yeah, Cold Fusion server pages. It was really easy. Just looked like it was easy as HTML, but you could have all the power of PHP and stuff like that. But anyway, things have moved on, and now you can just write code with AI. I had it write some code for me just yesterday, testing stuff out. But anyway, that's kind of what I did. I never really got too deep into Java or even scripting languages like JavaScript or I'm not sure if you consider Python one, but no. In college, I learned BASIC and COBOL, common business-oriented language, like for old business applications. Yeah, those are good languages there, Carl. Python and C. If you know Python and C, C++, great. Those are common languages out there. Varlays, you think the AI bubble is going to burst? Yeah, who knows what's going on with this AI bubble? All we know is people are spending tons of money buying NVIDIA, mainly NVIDIA graphics cards to build out these AI server farms. What do you think, Dr. Bear? And not only is AI dangerous, as we've seen, it can convince people to unalive themselves. It's also terrible for the environment. I know it's really energy inefficient. It's the same thing with crypto. All these things rely on GPUs, graphic cards, and typically NVIDIA cards. And yeah, we all knew crypto is destroying the world. Not the world, it's just really energy intensive, bad for the environment, bad for water, stuff like that. It's the same cards that are used for AI. However, though, Mike the Vegan, I thought he did a calculation in a recent video. It was something like you would need to do, was it 1,300 or 13,000 AI queries or prompts to equal the amount of energy or water used for like one beef burger. Just put it like that. If you're vegan, you can do 13,000 queries a day or prompts a day, to match the kind of damage that your just average meat eater is doing. And they're probably using AI as well. But yeah, I'm not saying it's good. I'm not trying to downplay the environmental harm, but yeah, it's all kind of relative. But then the AI is huge. It is sucking up a lot of energy. I've been reading why a lot of our electrical rates are more expensive lately. There's a lot of reasons, but one of them is that there's more demand. The server centers that run AI are taking more electricity, and there's not a lot of new electricity coming online to fill in. So yeah, there's a lot of problems. Uncle, which code editor would I use? Wow. When I was working strictly in Cold Fusion. I think it was called Cold Fusion Studio. At home, God, I don't remember anymore. I've used a lot of different ones. Wow. I don't remember anymore. I honestly don't remember what the names of my code editors were anymore. I think there was something made by the guys that made BB Edit, and I think they still might make that. Maybe I was using BB Edit. I'm not sure anymore. I developed on a Mac. You can develop on any platform, but since I'm more comfortable on Macs, I use that. When I use PCs, let me see what I used then too. I honestly don't remember what I was developing in anymore. It's been that long. I mean, it didn't really matter. I mean, you know, the editors weren't really generating much code for me. It was all coming from up here. It really didn't matter. Just really what you felt most comfortable getting around on. What's that, Nikki? Those stupid Apple Watches interrupt your therapy sessions every 5 minutes. You ask your patients to take them off. Wow. Yeah, I got my watch on, but as you can tell, it's been pretty quiet. I'm sorry that's happening there. Yeah, I try to keep my notifications down on everything to an absolute minimum. I want to be the boss of my tech. I want to control it. I don't want it interrupting me. I don't want it controlling me as much as possible. I think a lot of people, though, might not have the motivation and take the time and effort to try to do all the little tweaks that are necessary to be the boss of your tech. Yeah, nuclear power, Carl's back on the table now. I thought I saw that, was that earlier in the year? Microsoft is buying the old 3 Mile Island, the site of America's worst nuclear power plant disaster. They're buying that. They've got it back up and running since then. But anyway, Microsoft's buying it to run their AI stuff. Logica, S-Rex, used Vim for a while. Vim, is that an editor or is that just something inside of Unix? I did use Dreamweaver for a little bit, Jason Gutt. I did use that for a while for sure. I did develop in there for a while. I remember for a while, after a bit, it seemed to get kind of bloated and slow. Then I moved on to other stuff. Dreamweaver was kind of cool. I remember at first it could kind of develop like a website quicker than normal stuff. It would put in a lot of code for you. But yeah, I did use that for a while for sure. Yeah, VLAM, I'm with you. I don't think AI is inherently good or bad. If it, like most stuff, it's just a tool, a technology that humans have created, and people can and are and will do good and bad and neutral things with it. Yeah, people are using AI to scam people. Have you seen like the deepfake AIs that are get created of like celebrities and famous people? Hey, I need some money from you, Fred or Uncle. I need Uncle. Hey, how's it going, Uncle? I'm Brad Pitt. I'm your best friend. You got to send me some money. Stuff like that. Anyway. Okay, Logic. I knew that you were talking about some kind of Unix, Linux. It's the same thing basically. Just Linux is open source and Unix is not. It's the same language for the most part. Same stuff under the hood. Nikki, you remember Atari Assembler Editor? Wow, I never had an Atari computer or anything like that. I had a Commodore 64. That's where I learned BASIC on. I mean, not that I did anything all that practical. I made like a stupid game. It's really lame. That was my big accomplishment as a basic programmer. Yeah, Heidi, I agree 100%. It's all how we use things. If you use it for good or bad, the purposes that I find myself using tech and or AI for are just to help out what I'm doing. Either like a music thing or have it help me with my like YouTube titles or something like that. It's all for good. But yeah, people can use it for bad things too, for grifts, for cons. It's just like anything. A hammer, you build a house, kills, unalive someone. It's tech. It's the tech itself is kind of like morally neutral or ambiguous. It's what a person does with that tech. Yep, it's all how we use it. What's that? Hey, Mark, you remember programming in BASIC in the 80s on your dad's Apple IIe? Yeah, all those computers back then came with BASIC, thinking that we'd get into it. And, it's cool to learn a few things, but really getting to programming, I really got to study programming. But yeah, I remember I jumped into all that basic too. Let's see. Let's see, Graven. Let's see, talking about, I'm sure he's upset it isn't a smartphone, but he will be grateful later. And I say, great model, saying, yeah, your niece recently, 24, actually thanked your sister for not letting her get one as a young teen. Wow. Yeah, I'm so glad I don't have kids right now. I'm just so glad I don't have kids in general, but I'm super appreciative now. I'm not raising kids, and how crazy it is right now with the internet and bullying online, cyberbullying and AI now and everything. It's just, I can't imagine notifications. You never know if some weird, creepy perverts trying to find a text message your kids somehow on social media. Who knows? It's so crazy. I'm just so glad I don't have kids right now. I'd be a wreck. Or it could be a parent that doesn't care, but I don't think that would be like me. Yeah, you agree too, huh? Yeah, every day I've never say, I messed up. I should have kids. Nope, that thought never crosses my mind. Yeah, just fur babies. I'm totally cool. Fur babies are enough. They're plenty of responsibility for me, And they're getting old. They're like 12 years old now. I've made a vow. This is it. These are my children. I've raised them since they're almost from birth. I got them when they were babies. Little babies at the shelter, the animal rescue place. I got them, and as little kids, they've turned into men, and then once they pass on, I'm cool. I don't want the responsibility anymore. And to be honest, guys, it's hella expensive now to keep pets. I've seen people on Reddit say, I can't afford my pet anymore. They're trying to rehome their pets and stuff. It's so expensive. Food's gotten expensive. The vets are crazy. I mean, the annual visit isn't that bad. Yeah, it's reasonable. But if you have to have them spend the night or more, thousands of dollars, it's like going to Europe for a week or two, it's crazy. That's why we don't travel. So anyway, yeah, these will probably be it for us. I will just appreciate other pets. Maybe I'll volunteer some time at a place where I can walk a dog or something like that, help out. But anyway, yeah, Graven, yeah, you have a daughter. The social pressure kids face is wild. And I'm not bagging on you guys that have kids. I admire you guys having the patience, the wisdom, the responsibility to try to navigate your children through this weird new world that we have, this new online world that none of us had to deal with. And man, I can't imagine what it would have been like, going to, it was just crazy enough, like those hormone years of like middle school, junior high and high school. They're weird enough, those years, but having on top of that all the weird shit that comes with having these things and social media, it just must make it like 10 times crazier. Yeah, Dr. Bear, they're totally our children. I treat them like kids. I talk to them like kids. I try to teach them things. I don't think they can learn or not. Yeah, but it's their whole lives. Yeah, we're their whole world. They don't go out or anything unless we're going to the vet or something like that. Oh my God, Uncle, your friend Myra is going to transfer her job to Utah because it's too expensive to live in California anymore. I mean, yeah. Unless you move inland or something like that, so there's a little bit of discount living further inland. But still, yeah, Utah will be way more affordable, lower cost of living. Oh, you took your pugs to the vet today for their nail trimming. It's $55 for both? Oh, that's not bad. Yeah, I think that's where it was like $20-$30 extra to get their to get trimmed there. I should take them back. I kind of wish their toes or their things or whatever trimmed, not declawed, but just trimmed, because they have sharp claws. Let's see, what's that, Dr. Bear? You're 32 years old. You think I think it must be one of the last generations of kids that didn't grow up with smartphones and social media. You got your first smartphone after graduating. Wow, that's an interesting thing to think about. Yeah, you're probably the last generation to kind of grow up, I use the word very loosely, normally, as far as not having all that stuff, all the tech interfering with your those developing years. Yeah, I agree with you 100%, late model. I'll read your what you said there verbatim because I agree 100%. I love kids so much. They're hilarious, but I'm glad I'm not a dad. Absolutely 100%. I can't say I like all kids. I like the kids in our family. I enjoy seeing them. I think they're cool. They amaze me, and I have fun with them. But yeah, at the end of the day, I'm glad they're going back with their parents and they're not coming home with me and spending the night or anything like that. Yeah, we have scratching posts and stuff like that, Uncle, but cats will scratch whatever the hell they want. They like to scratch couches. They've basically destroyed the couch out in the living room. I guess we can try to get it reupholstered. It's made out of really good wood. You know, where all couches are made, supposedly, somewhere in North Carolina. That's where our couch is from, too. Really good wood, so I guess we can get it reupholstered. But yeah, they have a cat scratching thing, which they don't like nearly as much, unfortunately. Let's see, Sarah, you got your first smartphone, your besties hand you down in 2012. Yeah, I think I got my first cell phone around 2007 or something like that. You know, not I wasn't one of the early adopters, but not a late comer. I had one before the iPhone got released, so it must have been like 2005 or something like that. Didn't the iPhone come out in 2007? I thought. Here, Johnny says, I know Ryan is from the West Coast. When he says junior high school law, here we just say middle school. That's why I said both. I said middle school / junior high. I said both. I think I even said middle school first when I said that a few minutes ago. Did I not? So I'm covering all the bases there. I don't even think it's a generational thing. I think around here, different areas call them, you know, in Southern California, call them differently. Let's see, and junior high used to be only 7th and 8th grade. That's what it was for me, 7th and 8th. I know now it's like often, it could be a 6th, 7th, and 8th, or 7th, 8th, and 9th. Yeah, for us in our days, yeah, it was usually 7th and 8th. Same with Uncle, too. I guess, I don't know if that's a old California thing or not, but yeah, a lot of people I know from California had junior high, and it was like 7th and 8th grade. Above the Horizon. No, I've not heard of the movie Weapons yet. But, okay, it's not a regional thing. Okay. I did get Dexter, so I'm watching Dexter now, so that's cool. It's always fun to see Michael C. Hall try to, like, kill people and stuff. That's a show I liked, like 10, 15 years ago. So I'm glad they're making new Dexters. I'm just bummed they're not making the new one at Long Beach anymore, because they use Long Beach as a proxy for Miami. The Dexter, the new generation Dexter was the one where they showed the lead up. What's that called? The backstory to Dexter. Yeah, they filmed that here because Miami. But anyway, the new stuff's in New York, but it seems pretty cool so far. Let's see. Heidi says, iPad kids are bored by real life. Well, here's what we see, Heidi. Like when we go to, you guys know we have the Disney Pass, the SoCal Residence Pass. So we go a lot, and I'm telling you, you see kids. Actually, let me go on a little quick rant here, but I'll tell you what I'm getting to. I see kids that are way too, can you guys tell me this? Tell me if this happens outside of Disneyland. Does it happen where you live at? I don't know, but Disneyland's really the only place I go in my life where I see a bunch of strollers. I usually go to adult kind of places, or I don't go out much. Like when I go to a concert last night, no one's in a stroller. But I go to Disneyland, all these parents have strollers, nothing wrong with that, but they're strolling kids that are huge. Like they're like 3.5, 4 feet tall. They look like they're 8, 9 years old and stuff. I go, and you guys, and sometimes I'll see a baby in a stroller. I go, yes, that's how it should be. You put them in a stroller because they can't walk yet. I get it, but they're pushing all these big kids. Like, are the parents like world-class athletes? They don't look like it, but they're pushing these like 130-pound kids around. Anyway, my point is, often they're sitting there watching within the phone or iPad, watching like it looks like Disney Plus or something like that. So they're in Disneyland. They're way too old to be in a stroller, and they're sitting there with an iPad watching media rather than enjoying, looking around. Wow, I'm in the happiest place on earth right now. No, I'd rather be watching whatever. So okay, that's that rant there. I just thought I'd share that experience that I see pretty much every time when we go to the resort. Uncle, your junior high was turned into a community center? That's interesting. I looked at my elementary school that I went to before public school. I went to a private one for like kindergarten through third grade. And I looked it up, and yeah, it's a bunch of like condos or apartments now or something like that. Totally gone. Okay. Heidi says, yes, out west it's junior high, and East Coast it's middle school, 5, 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8 grades. Graven, the new Dexter is good. Your husband loves it, and then you love Peter. I haven't seen Peter Dinklage yet. Yeah, I forgot. You guys said Peter Dinklage is in this Dexter. I'm kind of bummed you told me. I would have been shocked when I see Peter Dinklage on the screen, which I haven't seen yet. I think we're only in like episode 3, maybe 4 or something like that. So I guess it happens later on. That's cool. I'm excited to see Peter Dinklage. See, I don't have a thing against Peter Dinklage. I just wasn't really fully understanding his reasons why he couldn't be vegan in Romania, I think it was. But I still like him as an actor in person. Let's see. Late model says, we call it middle school on the West Coast today, but it used to be called junior high. Really? Is that what happened, Sarah? So if I were to go to my junior high that I went to, if I went there, knocked on the door, and I say, are you guys, I don't want to say the name, are you guys blah, 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 middle school or blah, 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 junior high? I should just go look at their website, see what they call themselves. Rather, beats knocking on the door. They'll probably think I'm some kind of pervert or axe murderer. You know, if I show up, hey, what are you guys called? Like, what is this weird dude doing here? No, we're here. I'm just trying to do some science here. Anyway, I know I'm neither one of those. Not a perv, not an axe murderer. How'd I get on that rant there? Anyway, let's see, Dr. Bear. I mean, granted, when we went to Disneyland, you played your Nintendo Switch in the hour plus lines. Yeah, totally cool. Yeah, we're in lines. Yeah, we're on phone doing shit. Totally a reasonable thing to do when you're sitting there bored. Yeah, I'm just saying when they're just walk around the park and stuff, you know. You're not rich enough to cut the lines in lightning lane. No, I've never used a lightning lane, a fast pass, whatever they call those things. I've to skip the line. The only time I've ever skipped a line is when one time I went with a friend who has a disability. So we got in on the front of lines. That one day I went with her. That was it. Okay, so back to the junior high versus middle school debate here. So late model says, all our 6 to 8 grade schools in Bend and Marin are called middle school now. But when you was a kid, it was junior high. What did this happen? Does anyone have any idea when it went from middle school, I'm sorry, junior high to middle school? Was it in the 90s, 2000s? When did this transition in name happen? And more importantly, why? What does that name change accomplish? Is there something non-politically correct about one or the other? It sounds, I don't know. Anyway, I'm just kind of curious. Let's see, Mark, you went to the same school, grade 1 to 8, just called grade school, private Catholic. Oh, okay, they probably don't have all the different kinds of schools there then. Dr. Bear, in your Oregon City, they're called middle schools. Yeah, that's what Sarah's saying they should be now. They've changed the name. Oh, that's awesome, Uncle. 2 minutes to get to your house from your junior high to junior high. For me, guys, I kid you not, this is not an exaggeration. I had to walk uphill both ways to get to my junior high and high school and elementary too. There are hills both going up and down the whole time. I lived in a really hilly kind of area, so I was walking up and down hills both ways. And so Johnny says elementary was K through 5, middle school was 6, 7, 8, and high school was 9, 10, 11, 12. That was my high school, 9 through 12. Yeah, I hate Lightning Lane too. It's such a scam, and that's why the lines are so much longer. Because if you watch how they let Lightning people lane in first, well, they let them in while everyone else that's not paying for a Lightning Lane, we're waiting. So lines that like say are an hour long would only be like half that if they didn't let all the Lightning Lane people come in. They're actually creating a more miserable park experience at the expense of trying to increase their profits a little bit with their Lightning Lane thing. So there's another dumb rant there. Yeah, the parks would be way funner to go to if they weren't trying to squeeze out a few extra bucks charging people who can afford Lightning Lanes. Wow, Nikki, I'm sorry to hear that. Kindergarten in Portland? People were saying mean shit like that? Wow. That's crazy. Where are they learning racism from? Let's see. Anail says, God gave man dominion over the animals of the earth. Doesn't that make them okay to eat? This verse is in most religions. All right, Anail, let's take you up on that. So you're here to debunk veganism or something, or try to get us to change? Well, first of all, let me get your words up here. And thanks for coming. Let me get your words here. Here's the rules to go by, basically. Learn them, know them, live them. And here is what we are dealing with here. God gave man dominion over the animals. Well, what does dominion mean? Let's go take a look at the definition of the word dominion. Okay, definition of dominion. First of all, I'm not a Christian, so if you believe in God and whatever command you think God or rule God gave doesn't really affect me, or I don't listen to it. So, but yeah, I'm just going on. This is more of an internal critique of your beliefs here. Okay. Sovereignty or control a territory of a sovereign government. Power, authority, jurisdiction, control. Well, I don't see anything in here about meaning you can just slaughter needlessly. It just says you're controlling, ruling over. I mean, I wouldn't want the people who are ruling over me to say, hey, I have dominion over Ryan, I'm going to slaughter him. You know, it's like, I don't see anything in here about killing. Just because you have control over something doesn't mean that you have to abandon all morals in your governance here. Even I'm going on your worldview here. But your biblical thing says doesn't really affect me because I don't believe it, and I'm not saying this in a mean way. I'm just telling you this is an internal critique of your view here. So even if we're going by, if your Bible says that God gave man dominion over the animals, I don't see anything here where it says, and therefore slaughter them, breed them into existence, exploit them their entire shortened lives because they're not going to live out their natural lifespan, and then just slaughter them when you could just eat plants. That's the whole thing. So I don't understand. Like, I could see if it's like necessary to eat animals or else you're going to die or something like that. You might have some kind of game with that kind of logic here, that kind of argument. But the dominion thing, I don't see anything in there where it says God says, yeah, if you like say I have dominion, let's say like let's talk about dominion one more time. Like say again, talking about kids, say like some relatives drop their kids off here with me for the afternoon. They want to go out somewhere. I have dominion over their children. I'm watching over them. I'm governing them. I'm controlling them. I'm commanding them. Like, no, don't jump on the couch. Don't start fire in the kitchen or whatever. I'm controlling them. If it doesn't give me the right to unalive them and then eat them for dinner, like, you imagine how pissed off the relatives would be. Oh, I had dominion over your kids, and I'm saying this is absurd. So I'm just telling you, dominion in my mind, the way I read it, and I think I'm reading it quite non-radically, just I'm reading the words as they appeared there. The words do mean words, and I don't see anything in there about how it's automatically granted that if you have dominion over something, you can do with it as you please, do anything you want. Okay, Anil, I'm not talking about different religions. I'm talking about the dominion that I assume, it's usually a biblical Abrahamic law kind of thing. I don't know if there's dominion in Buddhism or Hinduism or Norse mythology or anything like that. I'm not going to cover all the world's religions. I'm just talking about the concept of dominion. And that concept should, if we go by what words mean, again, what dominion means, there's a clear definition here. And I don't see anything in here about do as you please, violate a person's or a thing's rights because it makes you feel good or because you're a sicko or something like that. It doesn't give you free rein to violate the freedom and well-being of other sentient beings. So anyway, Mark E. Moon. Yeah, but what dominion doesn't mean. Let's read what Mark E. Moon clearly says. Dominion doesn't mean torture and mistreatment. Well, let's double check, Mark E. Moon. Maybe we're crazy. No, power, authority, jurisdiction, control, command, stuff like that. It doesn't say torture and mistreatment. So yeah, dominion. Yeah, it's funny how people will throw that argument out. First of all, we don't have to, abide by the laws of your deity or anything like that, especially if we don't follow that religion or whatever you want to call it. But let's say we do. This is, again, internal critique. Even if you took it at its word, it doesn't say that you should mistreat and torture. Hang on, darn, my software quit here. Hang on one second, guys. Give me one more second to restart something. All right, cool. I think we're back in business. Good night, Graven. Thanks for being with us tonight. Awesome. If you got to go. What's that? That's a late model. All you know about Dominion is that's a dang good Sisters of Mercy song from the 80s. I don't remember that one. I guess I wasn't a big Sisters of Mercy fan. I didn't, you guys know I say I have some like goth things from my past. I wasn't like into like gothy or like goth rock kind of stuff. Not yacht rock, but goth rock. Like dudes and like deep low voices. I was listening to like floaty ethereal bands, typically with like female voices and stuff like that. But I respect the Sisters of Mercy. I'm just saying I didn't really go too deep into their catalog. Like the Mission UK, that kind of sound, Anyway, so are we done with the Dominion argument? Das Clowny. Oh, thanks for the meta commentary. Do you actually have an argument against veganism, or are you just going to do meta on me? Textbook narc you are. No, I am definitely not a narcissist. I'm like the opposite of, I'm like anti-narc. I call out narcissists. I'm so not I have none of the traits. I've had psychological analysis on me. No, I don't exhibit narcissistic traits. Oh, so NAL, you just don't like the dictionary definition. I get it. You disagree with like Merriam-Webster. They're dressing it up nice. Do you think Merriam-Webster would have a more accurate definition if they included torture and mistreatment? So it should be power, authority, jurisdiction, control, command, and torture and mistreatment. Those words should be inserted into Dominion. Well, if that's your opinion, you're going against we could look at other definitions too. Let's do that really quickly here. Let's see. Yeah, sovereignty or control. What else do we got here? Okay, they're often talking about more political, regional control over a country or people, that kind of thing. But even then, they're not saying if you have dominion over a territory or people, then kill them. I never make arguments for veganism. Well, that's your argument, so that's why I'm a narcissist. So are you just a chat bot? Is someone using a chat bot on me? You're not making any sense there. First of all, I'm a textbook narcissist, and then I never make arguments for veganism. Would you want an argument for veganism? In fact, I invite people to come here to give me evidence why I should not be vegan. So I'm already vegan. So it's your job to convince me. Isn't that what you want? You would like me to not be vegan? So if you have anything you want to tell me, you're here right now. So what's your strongest evidence or argument against veganism? Let me know it. If you have a really good solid argument, maybe I'll stop being vegan. I haven't heard one yet, but I'm leaving possibly open. If you can give me a great argument why I shouldn't be vegan. You ran for public office. Oh, well, you probably voted for Trump, right? So he ran for public office. I've been near you before. Whatever. So are you a bot or something? I never make arguments for veganism. I'm a textbook narcissist. I think you're confusing my confidence with narcissism, because narcissists do typically project confidence, but confidence and narcissism are not one and the same thing. So please don't get that confused. I'm not a precious snowflake. If someone comes here and says something unkind about me, I don't go, boo-hoo-hoo, he's mean to me. No, I look at what you're saying and I try to determine if there's anything behind what you're saying. Is it like personal? Is it some kind of bad bad faith thing you're doing, or do you actually have any real actual evidence or any kind of argument? So that's what I'm waiting for, the latter, not the bad faith crap. Do you have any evidence or argument against veganism, or are you just here to do some kind of lame meta ad hom on myself? Which is it? Because if you're going to do that, we're not going to pursue this line of reasoning anymore. This line of not reasoning, but this line of discussion. We go to the same gym? Really? Have you seen me at the gym? I don't think you are as bad as most, but your arguments are shallow. Well, okay, so now you're giving a critique of my arguments. I thought you said I don't give arguments. Now you say my arguments are shallow. Well, if my arguments are shallow, could you give me an example of one of my arguments for veganism? I would love to hear one of my arguments. Please tell me tell me what's one of my arguments for veganism. This is going all over the place. He thinks we go to the same gym and stuff too. Yeah, you should introduce yourself at the gym. But I would love, I'm just going to pause everything here. I would love right now to see when your words, try your best. I'm not going to be a dick to you if you get it a little off, but if you can come close to telling me one of my arguments for veganism, that would make my day. Seriously, I would love to see that. Thanks, guys, for vouching that I'm not a narcissist. Again, I'm confident, but I'm not a narcissist. Let's see. So we're going to wait to see if Doss can actually try to reproduce one of my arguments for veganism. I mean, I can give you some reasons why you should be vegan. I don't know if they are exactly classical arguments in the sense that I'm giving you an argument that goes like premise 1, premise 2, premise 3, conclusion follows from the premises. I don't think I have anything exactly like that ready to go, because it's just not what we do here. But anyway, okay, you're not giving me an argument. You're kind of going all over the place, Doss Connie. You're kind of gibberating like a chat bot. I asked you the question. You said my arguments are kind of weak or something like that. So I would love to see let's see what your words again. My arguments for veganism are shallow. So now instead of providing one of my arguments, animal products have been around for ages. Okay, that's a statement. So what? What the hell does that have to do with anything? If they're really that bad, why would we all put up with it? Well, that's not okay. Here, let's just go to what veganism is. Okay? Maybe this will help out a little bit for you here. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. That's what veganism is. If you can't see that exploiting animals is somehow unjust, just put it basically, not necessary. You're causing unnecessary harm, unnecessary killing to living sentient beings who don't want to die so you can have a fucking hamburger. I'm sorry for my words there. I'm sorry. Anyway, my point is, that's what veganism is having a stance against animal cruelty. You don't need to eat animals in order to live. You don't need to eat animals in order to be healthy. You don't need animals to be an athlete or to go to the gym or to make arguments or to do anything in life. There's nothing in life that requires you to have animals to be killed for you, bred into existence, exploited so you can eat them for meals. That's what veganism is. Is that an argument? I don't think it's an argument per se, again, in like classical logic or philosophy. It's a line of reasoning that leads to what veganism is, what I see it as at very least. What do you mean you don't like the hostility? You're doing all sorts of meta again. The hostility? Yeah, I hate hostility too. It's very hostile to exploit animals, mistreat animals, and slaughter them. That is the hostility. But no, are you being a precious snowflake? You're the victim now? You think some vegans are mean or something like that? So you're the victim in all this. Some vegans are, again, most vegans are nice and chill. I'm a really friendly dude. There's some vegan YouTubers I'm not going to name. They're complete assholes. They were born that way, bro. They were assholes before they went vegan. They're assholes as vegans. They'll be assholes the rest of their lives. It has nothing to do with veganism. Most vegans I know are like me, just chill, regular people, not narcissists, not sociopaths or anything like that. what question am I begging? I didn't ask. It's a killing. Okay, if you don't like the word slaughter, just use the word unalive. All right, I don't need, if you think that's too of an emotionally charged word or something like that. Animals are bred into existence. They're mistreated. They're exploited their entire shortened lives. Like, say, a cow would typically live like 20 plus years. They're lucky to live like 3 to 5 years, even as a dairy cow. Shortened lives to be unalived so you can have a burger. Is that better for you? Does that not make you as emotionally feel bad or something like that by saying unalived? Whatever verb you want to insert there to have their life cease to be, whatever you want. You know, I'm not going to use any emotionally charged words if that offends your baby ears. It's all describing the same action is what I'm saying. So whatever word you want to, if you want to call it Fred, cool. The animals get fretted, you know? They're bred into existence. They're led into a Fred house where a Fred house worker freds them, okay? If that is better for you. Carl says, yeah, Nikki says, happy fam is chill. But he's afraid. Vegans are hostile, you know? Carl says, if it just feels hostile to you because the possibility you are part of this massive exploitation of animals makes you uncomfortable. I know it's a subconscious thing, Carl. I know Doss would never admit that. He wouldn't say this in words or anything like that, or type it in words. But I think a lot of people, I'm speculating here. I don't have any science to support this, but my speculation is people typically, they don't hate animals, right? They have pets. They like animals. They go to zoos. They like animals. I think people feel uncomfortable. They feel this tension between that liking or loving of animals with going to the store or the restaurant and buying dead animals. They just try to block it out of their minds. I think a lot of people live with that tension. And when brought to the forefront, instead of being submersed in their subconscious, as they try to do, suppress those thoughts down, when vegans breeze those with the reality of what's happening to animals to the surface, shine a bright light on it, speak vividly, or sometimes show slaughterhouse footage of it, I think it makes people uncomfortable that they have to confront that unfortunate fact, that dichotomy of their existence. And again, different people react differently. Some people get triggered. They lash out and give us a bunch of shit. Some people, well, want to listen to what we have to say with an open mind and see if they really need to have animals fretted for them at the Fred house in order for them to live. They don't need that. Dawes Connie, what about cultures who need meat? You're just throwing shit out there, bro. Let's talk about yourself. Veganism, I'm not saying this is, it's like, I'm not talking to like Inuits or something like that. And as far as I know now, Inuits don't live like they did like 50 or 100 years ago. They have stores that they buy shit from, you know? Maybe there's a couple that don't have access to them, but the vast majority of them live in like some kind of semblance of civilization, if you will. They're not just all wandering the ice and shit like that anymore. And ice is cool. I didn't mean to call it shit. I'm just saying they're more civilized than you think. But it's not about, hey, it's like you're saying, hey, here's the argument I'm hearing from you, Doss. I can't go vegan because of like these Inuit people who I've never seen or never met. I've never even really researched or read much about them. I'm not like an anthropology professor that studies Inuit culture. I can't go vegan because of the Inuit though. Is that basically the shape of your argument here? I can't go vegan because of Inuits, which I am not, and I don't know any, and I've never been there or anything like that. Just because in my mind, there's some people somewhere on the planet I've never been that might have trouble eating an all-plant diet. Therefore, me, who lives in civilization with abundant food resources available at your fingertips every day to buy plants, you can't go vegan despite all the resources you have because there might be some people on the fringes of the environment who live a vastly different life, and I'm not even sure if there's that many of them anymore. Is that basically the shape of your argument there, Doss, or did I get it wrong somehow? The Inuit, though, that's your argument. But the Inuit, though, what the hell does it have to do with you? What do the Inuit have to do with Doss County for? I don't understand the connection. Yeah, it's like the desert island argument, almost. Don says, hey, Ryan, one of your arguments for veganism is that one doesn't have to eat a meat to live. Don, I don't know if that's quote unquote an argument, because I've studied philosophy. I'm a philosophy PhD dropout. I've studied, classical logic, formal logic, just philosophy in general. I don't know if that's an argument per se. It's not like, arguments like, premises that if true and if it's in a valid argument form, you lead to a conclusion that's necessarily true. I don't think I ever quite lay it out like that or anything like that. I'm just stating a fact. I guess I'm stating a premise more than anything. It's like a premise. Yeah, you don't need to eat animals in order to live. That's a premise. I guess I could make an argument right now if you want. Premise 1, you do not need to eat animals in order to live or to be healthy or to thrive. You don't need animals. Premise number 2, let's see what premise number 2 would be. Let's see how I can connect it to therefore be vegan. I'll work it out. Maybe next week I'll come back with a classical argument structure. Okay, Dr. Bear, you like my excellent breakdown of the what about people that may need meat? I always wonder, what does that have to do with you? Okay, let's even grant that there might be some people that might have to have meat all the time. I don't know. Just say there are some people, a handful of people on the fringes of the environment. How does that affect the other 99.99% of people who don't live in the fringes of the environment? Yeah, real vegans don't cheat. Who's talking about that? So Anil, so I see you're acting in bad faith here, Anil. You're not responding to what I'm saying. You're behaving to me. I'm not saying you are, but your behavior to me and everyone watching appears like you're a chat bot. You're just saying shit, but you're not engaging with anything I've said so far. You've not made any response. I've asked you specific questions, I've provided you explanations, and you just fire back more shit. And let's just go back to the rules here, because you're doing one of my pet peeves here is you're doing what I call, hang on one sec. You're just doing rule number 3 here. When trying to debunk veganism, I will only discuss one of your claims at a time. That's why I said, give me your best argument or evidence against veganism. Do not bring up a bunch of new claims. Don't be throwing, oops, wrong.
I'm going to leave your
Oops, wrong one. Don't be throwing poop on my walls. You're just throwing poop on the walls. Like, oh, that line of questioning or reasoning didn't work. Let's throw another poop on the wall. Let's see if that one sucks. Ooh, that one sucks too. Forget the Inuits. Let's throw out another one. Are you going to engage with anything I asked you, or are you going to just keep pivoting away to new topics that I'll respond to, and you will fail to engage with me? So which is it going to be? Because I'm not going to talk about anything more. I've already gone through 3 things with you, and you've not responded to any of them. So I take it that you're here in bad faith. You're not here to actually engage in a rational dialectic. You came here specifically just to throw poop on the walls and to do some light ad hom on me as well. That light ad hominem attacks. So anyway, let's get back to my main screen here. Wait, who's JS here? Talking about being vegan on the weekend? Let me see what JS is saying. Hey, HHV, I'm vegan, but I think it's weird that people say it's fake when vegans have cheat days or designate weekends as their vegan day. I still see it as minimizing suffering within their ability. Wait, I'm not sure, Jess. You think it's weird, but then on the other hand, you see it as minimizing suffering. Which is it? Are you saying that's okay? Are you pro cheat day vegan or are you anti cheat day vegan, Jess? Let me know what your thoughts are here. It's unclear the way you worded it there. I'm not sure how you feel about that. Okay, it sounds like you're for the cheat day vegans. I think everybody is different in their commitment. You see no reason to condemn someone who is making an effort. Well, okay, I agree with you to some degree there, JS, but let's look what veganism is here. It's a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation as far as possible and practicable. So unless, going back to that guy we're just talking to there, the Inuit guy, unless you're some Inuit trapped in the frozen tundra and you can't get your snowmobile or sled to the general store to buy some broccoli and potatoes, maybe maybe veganism might be tough for you. It's not that possible or practical if you're trapped on a desert island or something like that. But JS, for anyone like yourself asking, I'm pretty sure you fall into that group of 99.9% of us who live in civilization. We have access to some kind of places regularly where you can buy food, be it a grocery store, a farmer's market, a bodega. Hell, even some like so-called liquor convenience stores are pretty well stocked. So I'm not sure what it is about, you're saying that why you can't buy plants on the weekends or one day a week. I'm not sure what's going on there. Because if you feel like you don't want to eat plants one day of the week, well, you're just simply not vegan. You're something else. You're flexitarian. Just because you feel like it's not worth it to do it one day of the week, that doesn't fall under possible and practical. If you can get your ass out to a store and buy some plants or whatever, or a restaurant, I can see it might not be all that possible or practical if you're trapped on a desert island or you're in the Donner Party and your group got snowed in because you left too late in the winter or something like that. So I'm not sure what it is. Yeah, if you eat nothing but plants 6 days a week and you eat some animal products one day a week, well, you're just simply not vegan. And I don't say that in a condemning way, because I saw you talk about the condemning. You're doing something else. I think it's called flexitarian or something like that. I don't relate to it all. I don't understand how it's not vegan, because vegans have a moral reason, a grounding for what they're doing. We're not doing it for our health or the environment. I'm just going to cheat one day. You're doing it because you find it morally wrong to have animals killed for you, so you can eat them or do whatever with them. I don't say you flip that moral switch off on Sundays. Every Sunday, though, I think it's perfectly fine to have animals exploited and killed for me. So it's like saying, hey, I'm against grape and unaliving people every day of the year, except one day of the year. That one day of the year, I'm going to go out and grape people and unalive people. That's the day I get my yayas. No, see what I'm saying? That makes zero sense. Just like it makes zero sense for a vegan, someone against animal cruelty and exploitation, to turn off the moral switch and say, one day a week, I shall have steak or burgers or something like that, like non-veggie burgers. So that's how I see that whole vegan versus flexitarian thing. They're different things. And you probably have a different kind of morality as a flexitarian. You probably are more into it for some other reason, probably. Unless you're really good at flipping a moral switch off, just like that. And if so, yeah, more power to it, but you're not a vegan. You're something else. Not even more power to it. You're just not a vegan. Oh, and Dr. Brad, I was even talking to Anna-Il for jumping around, throwing poop on my wall. I was talking more to this fellow. Maybe I guess it was Anna-Il. Shit. Hang on, I'm having trouble here because I'm vegan. I guess it was. I thought it was that Ross or Floss guy or something like that. Maybe I got you guys confused or something. I don't know. Anna-Il came first, and that Ross or Floss guy came later on. That's who I was talking to about throwing poop on the wall. I don't think I was accusing Anna-Il Nizam of throwing poop on the wall. Forgive me if I may have seemed like it. I was talking about the earlier guy. The guy I was talking about, the Inuits and shit like that. So shit like that, meaning, what about these people that I've never met who might not have anything to do with what I'm saying, but I think they can't eat meat, so how does that affect me? It doesn't. So anyway, do you have a question? Anna-Il, vegans never claimed to be perfect. I understand that in the practice of farming, that there's accidents that happen. Sometimes an accident happens to a human. A human can get hurt in the field. There's many ways humans can get hurt in agriculture. They can have a tractor accident or what have you, fall in a hole, twist an ankle. Sometimes accidents happen to animals too. Why is it the vegan's responsibility when an accident happens in the practice of farming? How come it's not your responsibility as well? You eat plants, right? And furthermore, there's way more of you meat eaters. 98% of you guys out there are meat eaters. Collectively, ageism, your meat eating kind eat way more plants than vegans do. But I don't understand why it's our responsibility, this tiny 2% of us that eat the plants, it's our responsibility for all the accidents that happen in agriculture. Could you explain that to me, please? Why the moral weight of agriculture accidents falls on me, not the agriculture companies, the businesses, the people that are responsible for that, and you guys who they're making vast amount of food for? How come it's my responsibility? I fail to see the connection to me as far as bearing the weight of that responsibility. If you want to share it, then share 98% of it. I'm totally cool with that. I'll take my 2%. So we'll see what he has to say about that. Carl adds, the point is that there would be tons of extra land available for farming if we didn't have to grow so much for animals. Yeah, are you aware, Carl, Anil, that, these crops that, like you say, are these vegan crops like soy and corn, are you aware that the vast majority of corn and soy grown in the world is not to feed vegans, it's not even to feed humans, it's to feed your livestock, your factory farm livestock are fed these foods, grains and legumes from soy and corn. If I remember the numbers right, I think it was less than 5% of soy reaches the mouths of humans. Imagine that, in a little tiny fraction of that reaches the mouths of vegans. It's mostly grown to fed your animals. So think of all the land that would be freed up if we weren't producing so much freaking food for livestock. Okay, you agree with that. Awesome. Okay, so you agree that it's not my fault that there's accidents in agriculture, and the amount of food that I'm representative of and vegans are representative is just a 2% of what you guys are representative of as far as percent of total food grown. And then again, the total food grown for livestock is way more than what humans are represented from. So anyway, Okay, JS is back with the weekend vegan thing. Let's see. JS says, sorry, worded wrong. Some people have no animal food day, but do not claim to be vegan because they're not. I do see people making fun of those as wannabes, which I think is kind of weird. Well, JS, I agree with what you're saying here. If someone has a day where they have no animal food or in a week, say they have one day, a meatless Monday or something like that, if that's the best that they want to do or feel that they can do at that point in their lives, good for them. Yeah. Do I wish they would go vegan? Of course. But if they're not going to be, again, I can't force someone to eat plants, let alone I can't force someone to have a belief system, a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. We still live in a free country, guys. We're not a dictatorship, an authoritarianship, whatever you call it, where everyone has to believe this or you're going to the gulag or something like that. Is that what it was called? I don't know. Anyway, my point is, if that's where they're at right now, we shouldn't ridicule them, but they're not vegan. But I think someone who's just eating meat once a week wouldn't even consider themselves vegan. So I think it's a moot point. But I could see some of the more militant vegans, they're a-holes to everyone. They would probably call their mother an effing a-hole because their mother wasn't a vegan, So that's just what we're dealing with some people. Some people are just effed up like that. Yeah, Mark says, yeah, it makes more sense. And I agree we should be encouraging everyone to eat more plants, meatless days. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, if someone's not going to be vegan, if they're going to have one meatless day, that's one day a week better than what they were doing before. Tip my little hat to them. Awesome. What do I wish they would do more? Of course, but they don't have to listen to me. I'm not the dictator of the world or anything like that. I'm just a non-narcissistic music producer that has a vegan activism YouTube channel. That's awesome, late model. Your dad eats 90% plant-based. He calls himself vegan. That's awesome. He has dementia, so you don't ridicule him. Yeah, just let him call himself vegan. Nothing wrong with that at all. I mean, he's got dementia, and he's like, trying his best there. I tip my hat to your dad there. Yeah, Lance R3. Thanks for just subscribing a second ago, Lance R3. If you're around, just say hi. Okay, so Anna, I see you're concerned about that animals are accidentally harmed in the productions of foods. So it seems to me one of two things. Are you advocating that vegans must be absolutely perfect, and if there's any animals that are harmed accidentally or even intentionally in the productions of foods that we eat, somehow veganism is null and void? Again, if that's what you're thinking, I'm not saying it is, I'm just going, there's two ways this can go. If that's the way you're thinking, you're just wrong, because again, veganism is a stance against animal cruelty and exploitation. Nowhere in here does it say, and if an animal gets harmed in the production of a food that a vegan eats, the concept of veganism is null and void. I think you're thinking of something more of the ahimsa concept from, say, Buddhism and Jainism. Eastern religions have the ahimsa concept, which means something like, the concept of not causing any harm or cruelty to any sentient being whatsoever. Like, you just don't do it. And veganism is not saying that. We're saying, hey, we realize we live in an imperfect world, and it's not possible or practicable to have a whole chain of food production from the crops to harvest to delivery on a truck to a store, to have nothing get harmed in that whole process. It's impossible. It's not possible for that to happen. So if you're going down that road, no, if an animal gets harmed, animals get harmed in the productions of food that has nothing to do with veganism as a concept. It's still just as robust and powerful and truthful. It doesn't damage it. However, if you're the other path you might be taking there, and Neil, is that of a harm reductionist. You believe that we should harm the fewest amount of animals possible, and a vegan diet probably isn't accomplishing that. Well, if that's the path you want to go down, let me show you some actual data, because you can speculate all you want, or you can have some actual data to support the numbers here. Here's a mathematical model based on data from, like, say, really conservative sources, like, say, the USDA, government, really boring sources, not vegan activists. Here's some of the formulas and used in their mathematical models here. So if your goal is to harm as few animals as possible, well, this model will help you reach your decision quicker, because this model is genius. And it takes into account not only the numbers of animals slaughtered, like, when you slaughter, or kill unalive, like, your chickens and cows and stuff like that, but also takes into account the number of animals who are unalived in, like, the productions of foods and harvesting. So to have a look here, if your goal is truly to harm as few animals as practicable and possible as you possibly can, you have no choice other to eat a vegan diet, because that is where the smallest numbers of animals harmed is right here. Fruits, grains, and vegetables. And let's see if we have the data represented somewhere else here. Yeah, right here in the numbers here. You can see the numbers right below the graph. So if you're a harm minimalist, a harm reductionitarianist, you want the fewest amount of animals harmed, the conclusion is, if you're truly consistent with that belief and you really believe in that, this is what you got to do. You should eat a vegan diet. Will that make you a vegan? I don't know. I'm not sure what harm reductionitarians are. I'm not sure what their motivations are. But if you are truly concerned about harming the fewest amount of animals, you have no choice other than to eat a vegan diet, or else you're inconsistent. cool, JS. I'm glad we didn't attack you or anything like that. Oh. Okay, so JS telling Dr. Barry, I understand. He's saying he doesn't have a cheat day either, but he thinks ridiculing these, quote, low effort people might discourage him. Yeah, I absolutely agree, Jess. I think vegans that overreach like that and criticize everyone who's not doing it in the way that they think is right, it turns a lot of people off. What's the goal of veganism? You want as many people to become vegan as possible, but if you're being complete assholes to them and just making them feel bad when they're actually trying their first steps towards, having like a meatless Monday lifestyle, you shouldn't ridicule them. You should encourage them. Hey, that's cool if you weren't going to be vegan. If you're going to do that one day a week, I wish you would be vegan, but at least try that out and you'll see. If you can eat that way one day a week, you'll see it's easy. After a month or so, you'll say, hey, I can eat that way more than just one day a week. It's a path for them to start eating a vegan diet. If they find, hey, if they're like me, that's how I went vegan, guys. I didn't like wake up one day, I'm going to go vegan today. I just remember going on, first I went vegan when I told you guys I went to a Grateful Dead concert, and the Hare Krishnas served delicious, free vegetarian food. It was vegan. I go, wow, they didn't have to kill animals to make this? Awesome. I remembered that. And then later on in life, I took a trip where I ate nothing but vegan stuff the whole time. And I'm going, I feel great. If I could do this for 3-4 days, I could do this forever. It took me a few years after that to finally put that into practice, but that's the path that led me to it, doing a meatless Monday kind of thing. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Heidi, love the Hare Krishnas. Chant Hare. Okay, Anna Neal, I see you're talking to Carl and Dr. Bear, and that's awesome, but you're not engaging with me because I see what Dr. Bear is saying. Dr. Bear said, I already explained to you, as far as possible and practicable. It's not possible or practicable for vegans to just eat rocks or air. We have to eat something, and plants minimize harm. So again, Dr. Bear and Neil, if you're truly an animal harm reductionitarianist, if that's what you truly believe, according to the data, you would have no choice other than to eat a vegan diet, because there's no way to produce food where like nothing or no one gets harmed ever. It's just not possible or practicable. The best thing that we can do on this imperfect planet, we're just people living on this imperfect planet here, the best thing you can do if you are animal harm reductionitarianist is to eat nothing but plants. So what do you have to say about that? Rather than fighting with my longtime chill viewers here, would you like to engage with the data I presented, or do you want to just keep fighting with my friends? Yeah, Vondi, and being vegan doesn't suck. Yeah, I'm with you, late model. If I had to do it all over again, I'd ditch Jerry way sooner, too. That's what held me up from actually becoming vegan more than anything. Yep, and the dairy industry is still the meat industry. A lot of people don't realize that. Yeah, Uncle, we're still waiting for any evidence against veganism. Or at least, I would like to see his response to his... Okay, so Anna L says, I'm on the vegan side, but I also understand the arguments on the other side, too. Well, I'm just telling you, if you're truly concerned about harming the fewest amount of animals, this data here I'm pointing to shows you would have no choice other than to eat a vegan diet. Again, this is not just some bullshit here. This is mathematical models based on really conservative, boring data sources. Assuming these numbers are in the right ballpark, this conclusively proves you should eat a vegan diet if you want to harm the fewest amount of animals possible. Oh, Heidi, I forgot. 9 years cancer-free. Damn. And vegan. 9 years cancer-free and vegan. And Dr. Bear raises a good point. We have yet to still hear any arguments on the other side that are actually based in facts or actual real evidence. I hear a lot of arguments based on how jacked the person is. Look how jacked I am, therefore I'm right. You know, it's called to appeal to jackedness fallacy. Just a lot of misinformation, but we still haven't seen any like, ooh, God, it's about 2 hours. Thanks for reminding me, Sarah. Paige, can I ask how you gradually cut off bread? I haven't cut off bread. I still have, I have bread. I have nothing against bread. You know, you can find many, if you're concerned about dairy and bread, you can find many dairy-free breads. That's super, super easy. But if you're vegan and you just don't like bread for some personal health reason, fine, you know, totally cool. You can eat vegan bread if you want, but if you have a thing against bread, you don't have to eat bread. You're not going to die without bread. You'll be totally fine. Well, those numbers might change a little bit, Annael, but I don't see how we're going to have the stuff on the bottom, the grains, fruits, and vegetables. Like, even if they doubled or tripled, they would still be way lower than the least death-involved animal product, like pork. They'll never catch up to chicken, beef, or eggs. So even if they doubled or tripled, I'm saying there's a lot of... I don't see how they would. I'm just being very generous and charitable to your suggestion here. Let's just say they doubled or tripled. They're still going to be far superior as far as the numbers of animals killed compared to the animal products. So I don't think that is a valid criticism. Furthermore, we don't really have any reason to expect that these numbers would increase, especially double or triple, let alone, you know. So I think that's just shut down that line of reasoning. That's a go nowhere argument. Yeah, Ezekiel bread for one. You know, just for starters there, as far as, you know, non-animal products in the bread. Yeah, I haven't been a big bread person for most of my vegan life, like late model. But I've started eating bread more, like in the morning when I get up. Yeah, one thing I like to do is pour me a little tiny cup, half of like chocolate milk, half of a California mocha oat milk, and then pop in some raisin toast to the toaster. Just get up, have my little sweet treat drink. It's a little cup. It's not much. I don't want you guys to wear that I'm a caffeine addict. It's really small. It's really tiny. I don't think I'm getting that many milligrams of caffeine or anything like that. Just a little chocolate perk me up more than anything, and a little piece of toast, and just kind of do some light work or reading on my iPad. That's how I get my morning started. NAL, you're pivoting now. You're switching to a whole new topic. Can you cite me what percentage of meat in America comes from overgrazed hunting? I bet it's like less than less than 1%. So don't use that as a justification for eating meat. Some kind of fringe case like that, you know? I mean, it's got to be a tiny amount, because I know even like grass-fed beef is like less than like 5% of like the beef market. So if we're going to talk about overgrazing, it's probably even less than 1%, I'm guessing. So don't use that as any kind of justification. It looks like you're just floundering, looking at any justification to find some kind of a high ground for like, it's okay to kill animals. Well, if that's all you're eating, I've never met anyone who just ate overgrazed shot animals or something like that. Are they even sold as food afterwards? I don't even know what happens to that. Nikki, no, I can't believe people drink like 7 Monster energy drinks a day. No, I can't even drink one. Like, I've never even wanted to drink like an energy drink or a Red Bull or something like that. That sounds too crazy. And Dr. Bear raises a good point. The only reason deer are overpopulated is because the U.S. government kills their natural predators. So again, we created this bad situation. Uncle, I'm not sure what's for dinner tonight, actually. You don't buy bread, but very occasionally I have some out late model. Yeah, I like to get some like sourdough bread if I'm out somewhere, you know. That's a fun one to get. That's pretty much always vegan. Heidi's not also a big bread person. You went gluten-free for a few years. You take bread again, but you've lost your taste for it. GS, another question. Do you guys refuse food if a friend's mom offers you non-vegan food? Yeah, totally. Like, say I'm going through the market and they try to give out samples and shit like that. Like, no, just because someone's offering me something for free, I'm under no obligation to take it, especially if it violates my moral sensibilities, especially because I can go get something else that doesn't have animal bits in it. I don't think it's rude or anything if someone offers you something and they don't understand or know that you're vegan, even though I have a vegan shirt on. I'll say, no, I'm sorry. I have if anything, if I try to be as unoffensive as possible, you might want to say something as minimally confrontational as possible. Say, oh no, I have some dietary restrictions and I don't eat meat anymore, or something like that. I don't eat dairy anymore. I don't eat animal products anymore. However you want to put it like that. Say, I am vegan, damn it. How dare you offer me this morally cruel food or something like that. I mean, you could say that, but it's just going to cause, a bad interaction there. I just try to be as chill as possible. They probably didn't know. Say, I'm sorry. I have certain, and it's kind of impolite for them to ask why. Ooh, are you sick? Did your doctor put you on this dietary restriction? Or, it's kind of rude for them to pry private info like that. So that's what I would do in a situation like that. Oh yeah, there's another one. Say you're not hungry, but I think it's cool to say, no, I'm sorry, I don't eat meat anymore. I'm following a certain dietary protocol or something like that, and just put it like that. I mean, to make life easy for me, when I go through like the drive-through at Del Taco here on the West Coast, when I'm ordering the bean burrito, I say, and no cheese, please. I have an allergy. And that's a good thing to say. It makes them kind of liable if they put some in there that's going to get you sick and allergic or something like that. But yeah, I'm with you, late model. I'm flat out. Yeah, I will never consume non-vegan food. I don't consider animals to be food, period. Even if a really nice mom offers it to me, I don't give a shit. I mean, I don't care if the Pope or Mother Teresa or the Dalai Lama or Carl Sagan, a lot of these people aren't alive anymore, offered me something. I wouldn't take it, I mean, some animal product. I don't care who it is. So NIL, if again, you're speaking about fringe cases, I mean, what percentage of how in the total, let's look at the 100%, the entirety of the meat market of the United States, say, what percentage is from meat from sheep? I don't know anyone that eats sheep. And furthermore, to drill down even tinier numbers here, percentages, what percent of the meat on the U.S. meat market is from sheep that were hunted from overgrazing? See, all you're trying to do is find some kind of situations where you're trying to, maybe it's okay, well, look, I'm not saying it's okay to eat these animals' meat or anything. I'm not, but let's just say it were, just hypothetically, okay? Let's just I'll give you that for the time being. Let's say we're okay. You're not going to eat that stuff because it's just not that available. You're trying to say, okay, just because there's some weird situations where there's overgrazing, it's okay for me to go to McDonald's and order a Big Mac. It's okay for me to go to Sizzler and order a steak. It's okay for me to go to the supermarket and buy all this meat because of sheep overgrazing. Do you see how there's no logic that connects sheep overgrazing to moral choices that you can make? Like you can go to a store and buy potatoes instead of cows and pigs and chicken. I don't understand how, but sheep overgrazing though, it's like the Inuit thing though. I can't go vegan because of the Inuit, who I know nothing about. I don't know if they live like I think they do in my fantasies either. Da Vinci, I don't eat garlic. Thanks for putting that out, late model. I mean, you can smell like garlic as a vegan if you have a lot of garlic. I know a lot of meat eaters who are stinky as fuck. They smell like garlic too. I mean, garlic odor has nothing to do with being vegan or not vegan. It has 100% to do with how much garlic you eat, how frequently you eat garlic. So, bottom line, Da Vinci, you will never find me smelling like garlic unless I accidentally ate something I didn't know that had garlic in it. And that is extremely rare. I can go years without having any garlic ever. Yeah, Heidi. Yeah, there's some kind of disease or whatever you want to call it that's from a tick bite that makes your body unable to like process the protein and meat or something like that. I did a video about that a long time ago. I should read up on it again. But yeah, it's a real thing. It kind of forces people, unless they want to like try to struggle the rest of their lives, just eat a plant-based diet, eat a vegan diet, it's not going to kill you. Oh, Uncle, there's a SpaceX launch tonight, so that means there might be some weird shit flying in the air tonight, right? So there might be a weird little light show. Who knows? Yeah, Dr. Bear saying, yeah, exactly, breeding a bunch of sheep into existence and then saying we need to kill them to prevent overgrazing is absurd. Yeah, because Blood Rose is saying in Wales, all the sheep are deliberately bred for meat and wool. We create their presence. Hutchie, how can I go outside in the sunlight? There's no sunlight. It's nighttime right now. That's why they're launching. I guess we can go out and look at it if we want. I've seen the rockets. At one time, I remember, it looks like a weird light. You think aliens are coming or something like that. It's kind of cool, I guess. Hey, Nikki. Good night, Nikki. I'll be going in a quick second, too. So I want to make sure I've answered the questions of people who are here to try to provide some kind of argument or evidence against veganism. I'm still not seeing it there. Okay, you're not talking about eating the deer or sheep. Awesome. All right, so that's a whole nother issue. Controlling animal populations is a whole nother issue separate from veganism. I'm not an expert in these fields. I do know there are ways to control animal populations that are more humane, such as somehow, I'm not sure how you give them some food or drug or something like that makes them not reproduce, way more humane than like shooting them or something like and hunting like that. That's one way if your goal is to bring animal numbers down if they're overpopulating something. There's other ways to do it other than shooting them through the head or whatever. But that's not here nor there with veganism. Remember, veganism is a stance against basically all animal cruelty and exploitation. I guess that's a vegan issue as well, but it's more of like, animal cruelty and exploitation. It's primarily, not solely, but it's primarily related to animal and cruelty and exploitation as it relates to animals that we eat, whether they're bred into existence, live a whole life of exploitation in a factory farm, or even free-range animals, like those are bred into existence, again, for human consumption, human use. So that's primarily what vegans talking about. But yeah, if there's overpopulations of animals, that doesn't really affect your ability to go to a store and buy a veggie burger rather than a dead animal burger. It doesn't affect your ability. It's like, I can't buy potatoes and bananas because of sheep overgrazing in my country. Again, I don't see the logical connection. There's no flow of logic between those ideas there. Sheep overgrazing or whatever, deer overgrazing makes no difference as far as what you can that stops you from going to a store and buying plants instead of animal body bits. So yeah, good try to like throw some confusion in the air there, but it really doesn't affect you whatsoever. Anyway, late model, you get going. I got to get going soon too. I got stuff I got to do tomorrow, so I want to make sure I'm well rested. I'm tired from staying out kind of late last night, going to the concert I was telling you about earlier, and kind of tired too because I went to the gym today. I was kind of wondering if I should because I was out late last night, but I went and wisely chose not to play any games. Just did my workout on my own and had a less strenuous workout than normal. I spent more time shooting today than doing more like athletic crazy things. So anyway, yeah, Heidi, I won't be able to get my soy latte California tomorrow, actually, because I have stuff I got to do. But Angie and I are talking about Sunday, going to our favorite place maybe, either in the morning for a soy latte or going out in the evening for a dinner at our Italian vegan place. We'll see. We don't know. Not sure, but we'll try to get some kind of little enjoyment in this week. And all right, so yeah, you got a Giants game, and everyone, on the West Coast there, everyone, stay safe. It's gonna be warm, Uncle. It's gonna be hot this weekend, and even hotter next week. I saw it's gonna be like 100 in the valleys next week. So be safe, be careful, stay hydrated, stay cool. All right, cool. So it looks like veganism survived another week of not really having any evidence or arguments against veganism. We'll see if it can last one more week next week when we do next week's live stream, Friday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Come and join us all here. And we're a friendly, chill bunch. We're not really all that judgmental. We're friendly people, and we're open to hearing from others who have maybe a different opinion. As long as you're civil and chill, you can get along with us here, guys. So yeah, I should be able to get another new video out next week. So I know Peter's gone right now at camp, but hopefully he'll suggest some more videos to me. If not, you guys can always suggest them to us. I'm down for all. And if you guys know some anti-vegan saying something you think I should respond to, I'm totally cool. That's what I do. That's what gets me excited. But I still I'll be working on music Sunday, though, is the goal, and probably working on a new video Monday or Tuesday. We have a new song that's so close to being done, so close. So I want to finish that up so we can get that out for next month. So anyway, guys, yes, vegan survived another week. Let's see if veganism will make it next week. I'll see you guys Friday. And subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification bell so you can get all of Angie's 7 vegan meals and any other shorts that she makes on YouTube, because she's still cranking out content at a pretty prolific rate, just not this kind of content I make here, guys. So much love. Thanks for being with me here. Thank you, Uncle, for moderating. Even though we had a few people trying to debunk veganism, they were pretty chill. No one really was like doing anything like trolly or like they weren't being bigots or anything like that. So we'll take that. We like people being civil. So thanks for moderating, Uncle. I think Peter will be back next week. We'll see. So guys, much love. Thanks for spending your time with me on your Friday or Saturday night. Much appreciate it. I really like hanging with you, and I look forward to seeing you guys every Friday, and we'll see you guys next Friday. Much love. Bye, guys. Thank you, everyone.